Yo, what's up, many people out there around the world? I want to start this video out by saying thanks for supporting the Hood Films brand. Thanks for supporting my company, HOODFILMS.com, all this time. You know what I'm saying? It's been a gang of years, and I've been producing original projects since I started. You know, I think one of my biggest projects early on was Hood Life, and then it moved over to South Chicago, and then stayed to the lake, and then oh shit, I can't think of the name of it. I think Raping the Streets was real big, but basically these are just independent films that me and my team create, and then we put out to the world. And you consume them, you love them, you show up, people support the brand. We will do a lot of things to keep us moving forward. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that. I just want to take a split second to appreciate every single person that ever supported this brand from the beginning days to right now. But today I ain't here to talk about Hood Films brand necessarily. I want to talk about my father, my dad, the guy who taught me everything. Um, I've been trying to write this into a book and all that stuff, but I'm more of a talker. As some people that know me already know, I'm more of a talker. So just to kick off and go right at it, basically my father was, he stayed at home with us my whole life, like he never left. You know what I'm saying? So my father was in my life the whole time. And he had some mean streaks. I mean, seriously mean streaks. But most importantly, what he taught us how to do, me and my brothers, is he taught us how to hustle. Now this is something that's unique because everybody know what hustle is, but back then I'm talking like I'm 9, 10 years old. I'm learning this shit on the south side of Chicago for the first time. And he used to take us out with him to work. But what he did for a living is he sold things. Now back in the 80s, in the early 70s, when this happened in my life, most likely early 80s, he would sell Michael Jackson buttons, which was big. He would sell umbrellas, incense, hats. I mean, you name it, man. He sold this shit. He would have a big leather bag, and carry all his stuff in it, and he traveled around. But when he took us to work with him, he would take us to the project buildings. And the project buildings, we used to go door to door to people's houses and sell stuff to them. And one thing he used to sing was a song when he went up to the steps of the project, the project building stretch all the way down. It's different apartments all the way down to the end. And he used to say, incense man, corduroy hats and Tams. It's the incense man, corduroy hats and Tams. And we was kids, we used to laugh at that shit. And my older brother, he rest in peace now, he's no longer with us. He used to say it when he got up to the top of the steps too. I wanted to say this shit so bad when I was growing up, but I was like young, my voice wouldn't project it down the street. Then, as my father would say it, we would walk down the hallway, and the people who didn't open the door, you knocked on their door. My father would take us in there, he'd talk to these people, he'd sell them, we'd pick up his statements and what he said. It'd be funny, he used a lot of comedy jokes to sell, and then this would just be our weekends and nights. This is what we did. Even on Halloween, we went to the project buildings and we knocked on the doors and we had big garbage bags. We was kids, we're like, what the hell we got in a garbage bag to go for a trick-or-treat? This shit is bigger than me. But when you came back, you had candy that lasted you to June. I'm not bullshitting. It was so much shit. But anyway, after learning how to hustle, it was a store around our house where we could go and ask people, can I help you to your car with your bags? And this was called Jewel store. At this store, people were shopping for food and stuff like that. We stand outside. It'd be guys a little older than us, neighborhood dudes, and you would see a lady with a cart. She didn't want to pick the heavy bags up and put it in her trunk. So they didn't have it where you could push the cart all the way to the cart at that time. It's the early 80s. So the lady would say yes, and then you walk into the car, and she'd give you $1, 50 cents, whatever. But, video games wasn't PlayStation and all that. You had to have a quarter to play a video game. So that's how you did it. So that was our way of making our own money. And you know what I'm saying? You learn, street reality, people trying to rob you, people trying to steal from you. I mean, I got many millions of stories about how shit happened from learning from my father how to hustle. I remember somebody tried to rob me with a cane. Like he walked up on me and put the cane up behind his neck and was like, give me your money before I bust your motherfucking head. I'm like, what the fuck? But earlier that day, my buddy E showed me a gun. I'm like 12 or 13. He just showed it to me. Like, look, I got a gun. I'm like, damn, get the fuck out of here. Later, I went to go hustle. It didn't matter to me. So when the guy took my money, another little dude was with him. He went in my pockets and actually took the money. I saw this little dude at the rink. We used to go skating back then in the 80s. So I knew his face, but I ain't know him.
Which
So, make a long story short, I was like, you know what? Let me go over here and get this. My homie got they stole from me. I said, you know what? I'm finna break over here. I ran full speed, got back to the block, and I went to E. I saw E at the store. I'm like, hey, man, this motherfucker just robbed me, man. He like, what? So he had the gun still. He went up to the store. He said, go in there and see if you see the dude. Go inside the store. Dude walking around. My heart beating like, oh, fuck. That's that nigga right there. I'm like 12 or 13. So we go back out, and I'm standing around outside the store. The store was called Sayers. It's out of business. It went out of business way back then. So making a long story short, the dude come out the store, and I said, I'm freaked out. Hey, you robbed me. And my boy E grabbed the gun. He started loading the gun, like with the bullets. Dude freaking out, like, I swear to God, I'm so sorry, man. I didn't know who you was. I swear. You know me, I'm pumped up. I'm like, give me everything you got, motherfucker. I went everything in his pocket. I went to the little short nigga pockets, took all their money. I was mad as hell. I'm like, what the fuck? So my boy E like, nigga, if we ever catch you around here, nigga, we gonna kill you. I'm mad at E, because back then I'm such a kid. I'm like, nigga, why you loading the gun? You supposed to be pointed like it's ready. Now, after the fact, that was probably smart for him to be loading the gun instead of shooting the damn thing. We was so young. Make a long story short, got my money back. End of that story. It was just little shit, but my man taught us all these little street tactics and stuff, how to handle ourselves out here on the road, out here in the streets, and I'm just proud of that. You know what I'm saying? And my old man eventually stopped selling, because he originally started selling at the college. It was a college in Chicago called Malcolm X College back in the 60s. And he started selling inside the college. We eventually, you can't sell there forever. So he moved on and just started selling for himself and did it like that. My grandfather, which is my mother's father, taught my father how to sell, because it's a place in Chicago called Jewtown. And that's where my parents grew up, like literally around a place called Jewtown, where you went, everybody sold stuff from whoever to wherever. Every nationality sold stuff down there. Well, they closed Jewtown down now, and the area is owned by the University of Chicago now. But when we was kids, my grandfather used to sit out there on the sidewalk, and he would sell stuff. I was a small kid. I only saw the stuff he had back at home. I never really could remember him selling on the streets, but I remember his house was right there on Halsted Street, 14th and Halsted, which is where Jewtown was. Literally, his house is right there, and it was a TV show that came out. They filmed in Chicago called Hill Street Blues. And when the TV show opened, the opening trailer when they played the music, our house was literally in that sequence, and I just never forgot that being a kid. Like, damn, they go our house on this TV show. So we went through it, and we learned a lot having a father that was in our life from the beginning, and taking time to teach us how to be men, taking time to teach us how to sell and make money for yourself, create a product, create something that can bring value to it, put your name on something and bring quality to what you bring your name to. So as I got older and I decided to work in filmmaking and chase my goals as an artist, I always remembered what my father would teach us. Each was a separate thing. And sometimes when money gets funny and I didn't know how to bring money, I'm not that much of a guy that could work for people. I mean, I'm sure it's billions of people that can, but sometimes things get funny and people take power the wrong way. And if I'm under them and they have this power structure problem, I sometimes just snap out and check them a little bit. So it's easier for me to run my own operation, and that's why Hood Films is something I created. It's something I produce my own stuff. I even motivate other people, to do you. I mean, if you're an artist, you like filmmaking, do you, write something, create something. They got cell phones out here now that can do a lot of the work that the digital and the filmmaking stuff couldn't do as we was getting older. So I just wanted to say that, man. I'm shouting out my father, Mr. Hood, Alan Hood, who trained me and my brothers how to be men, who trained me and my brothers how to work for ourselves and create something for ourselves. And no matter what, no matter how tough things are, you always know that you can create something and bring value to it and get money for yourself and your family. And I'm telling you right now, you do not understand how important that is in a scheme of life. I've sold thousands of my products to people from all over the world, places I've never been and places I'd probably never go. You know what I'm saying? But all of them were fans, and all of them I'm great to have met them. I done learned different sections of their language and stuff of this nature. And so it's just great, man. And I can't not implore to you how important it is to work for yourself and own something. And I appreciate my father. I'm shouting out my daddy, Mr. Hood. And thanks for the knowledge and thanks for the growth, man. I appreciate it, man. Shout out to my daddy when you see him out there, too. Peace.